Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Not Another Fucking Podcast. Today, I am joined with Yas. And Yas, if you'd like to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do in the space, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Yas. I'm the co-founder of Galaxy Fight Club, which is a game studio that we founded back in 2021. Part of the Animoca brands, Sequoia Capital, and Spartan Group portfolio companies.
That's awesome.
And yeah, excited to be here. We also built a couple of other products over the years, but got a lot cooking, a lot going on. Excited to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
No, thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, I think on your X profile, you're saying you're cooking a lot on Hype. If you talk a little bit more about what you're doing on Hype and stuff, because I think that is the big runner. I think this I don't know what you want to call it this this time round.
Yeah, I mean, so Hyperliquid is definitely interesting. It's an interesting ecosystem. We're seeing a lot of inflows into the DeFi protocols, especially on Hyper EVM. I think something that we were really early to is like overlays for Hyperliquid. So we built another product called Crush Protocol, which is like a Bloomberg terminal for Hyperliquid.
Okay.
So essentially, it uses the Hyperliquid Perps in the back end, and the front end is enhanced through you can think of it like a news feed basically that tracks news in real time. So whenever something new pops up, you'll get like an indicator saying, what kind of news it is, what category it fits in, the potential impact on the market, and whether it's bullish or bearish. So kind of indicating, what kind of trades make more sense. And we're also looking to expand that to like spot trading and cross-chain trading. So that's some stuff that we're working on. But Hyperliquid is super interesting. We also saw, I'm not sure if you were keeping up with this, but we saw Aster launch yesterday or 2 days ago.
A couple of days ago, on Binance chain.
Yeah, so that's also super interesting. I mean, I've been keeping up with that a lot. I absolutely top blasted the coin, like I faded it, and then all of a sudden the FOMO hit me, and I was like, okay, fuck it.
I was nearly the same, honestly. What was it, like 120, I think it was? I was like, oh man, this is like come out of nowhere. And then you hear all these rumors of like, this is CZ's next big project. He's under it, behind it and everything. And you're like, But I've been kind of like following it peripherally. I mean, you do when anything like massively moves, right? And everyone's talking about these big kind of OG names having some sort of kind of influence on it. That's very interesting, and we'll see how that develops. And then it kind of goes like, oh, okay, is this the hype killer? Or we always love doing these things, it was more of a like race of layer ones really in the last bull run, wasn't it? Of like, is this going to be the one that's going to topple Ethereum? And nothing ever really did. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think so an interesting conversation that I had, probably I want to say like a year ago. Was it a year ago? Let me think. I think it was during Token 2049 in Dubai. So it was in April of this year. So a couple of months ago. And it was with one of the head of product development, one of the engineers at Binance. And he told me that Hyperliquid is a big topic at Binance.
Wow.
Because they're stealing. They stole like so much volume that was previously going through Binance, right? For Perps trading. And that's why I'm not really surprised that, CZ is kind of supporting a DEX like Aster. So the only question really is like, how invested is he? And is it not just a financial investment, or is it also like a personal investment in the sense of like, is it an ego-driven thing that's gonna get him to continue like pushing and promoting it? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think it's still like a little bit too early to kind of tell, but my bet is that it is personal, and he really wants to grab that market share back. And we saw like a lot of stuff happening back in the day with like FTX and all of that stuff, and there was this big war between Binance and FTX and stuff like that. So we know that CZ is certainly like capable of moving the needle, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's probably more potential upside than downside. But I'm not a trader, so who am I to tell?
No, exactly. Not financial advice, but no, but it's true. But it's true. Like I think it is interesting, and he does. I think primarily what his kind of founding principles were in terms of like he didn't like sort of government intervention. Like that's why he was sort of attracted to crypto, right? And he got into trouble because of that sort of narrative, or at least in Binance, I know that they had a very lax attitude, right, to say certain kind of like people parking their money on Binance and stuff, and they didn't really do a strong, heavy KYC, and so as a result, obviously, he got into trouble. That's why. But I think it didn't come from a place of like, oh, we want to kind of offer this platform for illicit money to move through, right? His thesis, I guess, was it's completely unbanked, decentralized. We want to keep, anyone from like that's kind of like the ethos of crypto originally, right? It's like you are the controller of your own finances in some respect, and you are the one who has it stops like oversight from government and some sort of form of control. And I think that maybe that's where it comes from, and this offers that in a way. But it is interesting because if it is tied to Binance, like Hyper is completely decentralized, that a lot of people don't know who the founders are, and it's kind of like, I mean, if you look, people, you know who they are, but like, publicly, it's not very, very no knowledge. So I wonder how intertied this is to Binance, and if they do kind of operate in a similar way, will this come back to bite them in the future?
Yeah, and I think also when you touch on like politics and stuff, I think it's also interesting to see like how I'm not sure if CZ's stance has changed, but we saw the CEO of World Liberty Finance make a tweet yesterday also about Aster. So it seems like they're also involved to some degree. So who knows what's really going on, in the background, but yeah, we'll kind of see how it plays out in real time.
Well, I mean, if POTUS is involved, right, then it'd be fine. Because in terms of regulatory kind of overreach, the only two like territories that most things have to worry about are usually the US and Europe, in terms of like really, really trying to kind of control how things operate, and yeah, so if they're behind it in some respect, at least for the next 3 years, might be fine.
Yeah, it might be fine, or as some people on Crypto Trader might say, it's crime season. So,
well, yeah, when the U.S. president releases a meme coin. I mean, to be fair, he released it before he was president, so he wasn't president as he released it. But it just makes you like question the whole space, and you're like, oh wow, okay, the rug season's here.
Yeah.
But cool. Anyway, past that, I think going back to Hyperliquid and what they've done is incredible in such a short space of time, especially in a very crowded space, right? And what they offered wasn't anything new per se. It's just obviously they seem to be winning the kind of DEX perp space because they're not the only ones doing it, right? But they are definitely the biggest.
I think what was very smart is their like community approach, right? So building very transparently, building in public, having a very large token allocation for the community, dedicating what is it like 90 something percent, 92 point something of their revenue generates by the fees to buying back the Hyperliquid token and things like that. So I think I think a lot of the approach that they took was in some degree revolutionary.
Mm.
And then obviously the fact that, I think, well, I'm not sure if they were the first ones to ever have like a decentralized perps trading platform, but they certainly belong to like the first movers.
Yeah.
And I think it's also from like a builder's perspective, very impressive that they managed to pull this off with a team of like, what is it, like 10 to 15 people or something like that.
Yeah, it's very, very small amount.
Yeah. And while I don't know any of them, but what my friends have told me is that they are like pure workaholics. Like they pull, 12-hour days for months at a time, and everyone is kind of pulling in the same direction, and everyone is just so aligned. Like it is very impressive.
It is.
That's for sure. Yeah.
I think as well with what like you touched on it, but in terms of like the community aspect as well is what massively grew. Like I there's lots of people that obviously farm airdrops, and but they they really rewarded early adopters and users, and I know many people who didn't do much on it who ended up with like thousands of dollars worth in Hyper. And now, I mean, that's when it first launched, right? Like now,
I mean, more specific, what someone I know made 3 trades with $100 each, and his airdrop is now worth like $12,000.
And it's crazy.
So
and you're like,
just to put that in perspective, yeah.
Yeah. And that's, yeah. And that's like the story you've heard with many, many people, because but I mean, I like that. I really like that aspect because it's really rewarding the early adopters, right? And it really rewarded them when at a time where they kind of didn't have to, because they were already, gaining momentum, being very successful. But I think in turn, in a weird way, doing that kind of created so much buzz that it drove more traffic. Like, do you know what I mean? Like essentially airdropping millions in value created such a buzz that everyone just took notice of it, and then all of a sudden it was just like bam, and it is a behemoth. I don't even think we're close to where it's going to get, and I think people now would be looking at the price and thinking maybe it's too late. And this is not me trying to shill or anything. Like I own a couple, not much, but I think it's like we're going to look back at this and be like, oh wow, this obviously was the one that was the mover this time around, because everything was moving towards it. And I think that the only trade-off to it for it, and the worry, I guess, is something like Aster coming along, right, and kind of dethroning it in a way. And so yeah, but I think it's very, very interesting. I think it's amazing what they've done. I think the community aspect was incredible. Like, and I think not only the only ones to have done that, because I think ENS did that as well for early adopters that had, registered their own sort of domain. For those that don't know, that's an Ethereum name service. They're like sort of a domain, but on Ethereum. And I think they did a huge airdrop and stuff, but I don't think it had quite the impact that this did in terms of driving, because I think after the airdrop, usually what happens is people dump, and then it kind of like tanks the price. And
that's where the revenue comes in, right? Like you need to have a revenue generating product, that can kind of sustain that, right? And then you have like the big believers who also support. They continue to soak up the sell pressure. So it's not just up to the platform or the team themselves, but more so also just big believers. And I think another aspect that really helped in the Hyper ecosystem is that a lot of builders kind of came in who replicated that Hyperliquid model. So again, we're seeing so many like protocols, DEXs, I don't know what, launch with like a very similar tokenomic strategy where they're like, okay, you know what, like you're going to use, let's say like a DEX or whatever, you're going to use it anyways. So why not use us? We'll make sure that, we reward everyone's farming points. So we get back to the topic of farming. But we're going to use the revenue to eventually like buy back the token. So everyone's going to get an airdrop, we'll buy back, blah, 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 this and that. So I think that was also pretty smart. And also, taking the combination of Hyperliquid not just being a platform, but like an EVM in itself. And now, doing all the new stuff with their stable coin and whatnot. I think it's more like the the ecosystem that kind of allows everything to thrive, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, and I think they were like I said, they weren't maybe the first to reward in the community, but they were the first to. Well, maybe they weren't, but they're definitely one of the only ones that I've noticed initially to have kind of done that, where they've rewarded the community, but also have the mechanism to buy, like you said, buy back the token, right? So inevitably, that's you're using the profits for something, and the more successful it becomes, the more profits you make. So if you're pumping that back into purchasing the token, the only way is up. Like, if it's
Pretty much.
yeah, like and so I guess other ones that are replicating it, it'll get to a point where too many are replicating it, and then it's just too much noise, and then you'll just kind of be farming from one to the next one to the next one, and hope that one of them like explodes. But you know, it was a very interesting launch, and it wasn't. I think it wasn't that well known until it kind of blew up, in my opinion. I think people knew about it, and I'd heard about it. I didn't, I'm in the space deep in the trenches and stuff, and I'd heard of it, but I didn't know enough of it to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go trade and do some perp trading on it. And
they made like no one was trading perps, they made trading perps worthwhile exploring, right? But just as with everything in crypto, it's like price goes up, and then the attention follows, so I think you're not alone. I think pretty much everyone was sidelined until like after the airdrop and stuff.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh wow, what is this thing?" But even then, if we got in then, because then initially, as with all airdrops, it went down a little bit. It didn't go down as much as people would expect, but I think was it trading like $2 to $4, and now it's at like 50 plus, right? Which is crazy. He had the cojones to just kind of go and buy. Yeah, would have done really well. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is Aster the next one that's gonna kind of grow exponentially? Who knows? It's definitely interesting. And if you've got someone like CZ, kind of not backing it but talking about it, it's got something going on in the underbelly.
Yeah, I think it's they also shape more than just the I guess farm to airdrop meta, but also like the revenue meta, right? I think that also kind of stemmed from the success of Hyperliquid, because people saw, okay, revenue generating products are actually a thing, even in crypto. Wow. And I think that's also where the team behind Pump.fun took a lot of inspiration for their new business model. We saw Pump.fun bottom out at like, what was it, like 0.00 something 3. Was it 4 billion? 4 billion was a pre-sale, and then it bottomed out. It
definitely went below the pre-sale price.
Yeah, it went down to like
I think
2.8 or something. Yeah. But again, like they launched their new platform, whatever. Revenue was coming in. Again, throw that money back into the flywheel. Token goes up, and then attention follows. Everyone goes to pump. Everyone is all of a sudden back into the trenches and buying Solana coins, until all the tokens get rugged again, and then people start looking for the next shiny object. I mean, that's generally like how the crypto metas kind of play out, right?
Definitely.
Yeah,
it's very true. And I ask every guest this: Did you ever know about Tomb forks and stuff like that back in the last bull run?
I don't think so.
So Tomb was a rebasing project. Anyway, I want to talk about it. I've talked about it enough. It was a very interesting thing, but it was basically just a pyramid scheme set up. Like essentially, it's like you had these crazy APRs to start with, and then they obviously slowed down over a few days. And first movers made the most, and then it just would decrease, and eventually it would fall because it only worked when you brought in new people. And again, it was that kind of like idea when price goes up, attracts new investors and people coming into it, and it gets to a point where it just like, yeah, it was very, very degen.
Yeah,
it was all these kind of ideas, like, because there was Tomb, which was sort of the original one, and then there was like loads of forks of it, and most of the forks were kind of, most of them were scammy, like rugs. But generally speaking, if you had checked the code, there was no kind of like way that they could steal the money. Essentially, then you probably get like 2-3 days of making okay if you were in early, get your money out and then risk it. But yeah, then kind of switch to meme coins. That was kind of like a big thing there as well. And now meme coins have never really gone away. And I think the beauty of them, and there is a lot of downside, don't get me wrong, like I'm not an advocate for meme coins, but is that you all start at the same place, give or take, right? Like I know that sometimes groups snipe and, devs will rug, but how many projects, like look at Pump.fun, they started at a 4 billion market cap. That's crazy. Like imagine 2017 crypto and something starting like a 4 billion mark. Just insane. It wouldn't have happened. And
it's unimaginable.
It's like 4 billion's a lot. Like you haven't got much room to grow, but like obviously their mechanism, it works. It works with Hyperliquid. So I think in the long run, it will probably work. And Pump.fun is the second largest now, or is BONK, has BONK overtaken Pump.fun yet as like the biggest launch pad on Solana? It's one of the two.
No, Pump is still dominating.
Yeah.
BONK overtook them for like a week or so, a couple months ago. But that was as much as they were able to get.
And then it just went straight back into, well, I mean, because with Pump you can stream. Like
I mean, Pump is just like, I think the smartest thing that they did is like the creator fees. It's just so unimaginably smart. And the kind of money that people are doing on there is mind-boggling. Like there's people who've never streamed before, who come onto Pump.fun, they start their stream, they do something cool, and the next day they wake up with like 200K in their wallet.
Wow.
Like it's just crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. Like you can't make it up. And I think they're paying out in millions of dollars on a daily basis just in creator fees.
That's crazy.
So
damn. I mean, actually, that's like, just thinking about it and talking about it, like that's sort of groundbreaking in terms of like where that goes right in the future. Because if they kind of expand on this, man, imagine it's becoming a Twitch, but just with meme coins.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm pretty sure that even Kick or whatever the platform is that is giving out the highest sponsorships, like they can't compete with that. If a Kai Cenat or Aisho Speed was to come onto Pump, like he would make $1 million in a day. No doubt about it. No doubt. Absolutely no doubt about it. Like at least $1 million in a day. Guaranteed. Yeah. Then all of a sudden your Kick deal or Twitch deal or whatever that's paying you maybe 10 million a year isn't looking that great anymore.
No.
Because you just made $1 million in a day. So but the whole problem, and this is basically what they haven't solved yet, is
rugs.
Is not just rugs, but like every token has volatility, right? And Pump is making. I saw them make this tweet earlier today, saying that they got, I don't know, like 20% more users or something in the last 2 days or whatever. And their new target audience is like normies, as we call them, right? Like people outside of crypto. And by the way, if you haven't downloaded the Pump.fun app on your phone, I suggest doing that, because it's an incredibly smooth app, mobile app with an insanely great and well thought through onboarding process. I'm still shocked. Like I downloaded like a week ago or something, and I'm still like, every day I look at it, I'm like, it's genius.
Okay,
very
cool.
smart.
Yeah, no, I haven't downloaded it. I will. Because I think
to get to the
sorry,
point,
you go.
Yeah, sorry, to get to the point, the issue that they haven't solved is they're bringing in all these people. Let's say they're bringing in normies. They buy whatever trending token of the day, and they wake up the next day without any money, because literally every single coin that has launched on Pump.fun is ending up at zero. So that is something that they need to solve. And it doesn't matter if their team supports it, if Alan supports it, or whoever. I don't know who. For all I care, fucking like CZ could support it. Don't quote me on that. But from the looks of it, it seems like no matter who kind of promotes a token on there or a streamer, like also this also holds true for the streaming tokens, they always go down. So the question really is, how can you have that ecosystem in a functioning way where the normies don't get burnt? Because they will come in, they will enjoy the platform for a day, they will get excited. It's very dopamine heavy. Like when you use the app, you will see that, you know, you're just like, you're stuck with it. You can't close it because it's just like so much dopamine.
Wow.
And people, it's really easy to top up money, like Apple Pay, one click, you got your $100 on there, you know, ready to go. But people will wake up the next day with only $50 or $20 or 10, and they'll be like, yo, what the fuck is this? You know?
Then they walk away from it. They're like,
it's more counterproductive rather than anything else.
I think that's the problem, right? Like the whole setup of meme coins is in its essence, like no one puts money into meme coins thinking there isn't a risk, right? Like it's not like you're investing in this protocol and then it rugs because, you know, the devs disappear or whatever. Like, oh, they had all these future plans and stuff. Everyone knows that it's a meme coin and it's, you know, in its essence, it's just completely volatile. But if everyone just keeps getting burnt, then what's the incentive to go back, right? Like it's, and that is a real problem, like you pointed out. Like right now, it's great, it's exciting, and I'm going to check out the app as well, and I'll probably be throwing some Solana on there. I've already thrown enough Solana at some of my some coins, but ultimately, it's like if everyone loses out, eventually people are just not going to come back in, right? Like it's fine when you have it's a rotating thing, right? New people are coming in, so it's still kind of perpetuating it, and it's still exciting. It's new, and they go, then the next bunch of people come in, and it's kind of keeping that. So how can they kind of protect themselves? Maybe they need to kind of look into how gambling websites work or something like that. You know, like have some sort of mechanism that pays out. So even if you lose out because you put money in and you invested, actually you win like $1,000 randomly. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like maybe some sort. I don't know what the answer is, and that is a tricky one, right? Because it's a money making machine, really. Like for Pump.fun, for the creators, it seems, with the fee share as well. And maybe they get rewarded in Pump.fun token, and I don't know.
But the creators are actually the creators aren't even incentivized for the token price to go up. Like that's the funniest part of it. It's like,
but that's good though, because that means that they're not incentivized to then try to rug, right? Like they're making their fees. So if anything, they want to keep it going because they're getting the fees, right?
But again, they're not incentivized in the token price going higher because they only get money through volume, right? So trading volume equals fees equals creator fees too, right? So I think the issue with that is that they that mentality goes against your token buyers, right? Because if I launch a stream and I want my followers to be happy, then obviously I would have their best interest in mind. So I would want the chart to go up. But yeah, it's an interesting. I'm just interested in how they're going to solve it because it's not my job to solve it, right? But
yeah, but it's good to watch on the sidelines.
Yeah, and also, I'm also sure that if let's say a new creator kind of comes on and he becomes the next Mr. Beast or something, or the next, iShowSpeed or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm surely that token is going to do well. But again, I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast hasn't solved how to live forever. So what happens then? There's an end to all of it, right? But then again, you can also, this becomes philosophical, because then you could argue, okay, well, stocks are the same thing because companies, you bet on companies, price can go up, but eventually there might be new technology or whatever coming out, so the company that you invested in might go out of business or whatever. Like, then we're discussing, I guess, a whole other topic. But in crypto, everything moves like 100 times faster, right? So that's why
it does.
It's a little painful to watch at times.
It is. I mean, that is painful, but I guess you get to the next narrative quickly. And also, it's crazy how fast things move, right? Because of a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple of months ago, we were talking about Base and everything's being built on Base. And now Astra, do you know what I mean? Now everything's kind of coming back. It's not even Astra, sorry. It's all things are coming back into Binance now. A bunch of Binance meme coins are going back up again. It's like, what? This is in the space of 2 days. It's all switched and the narrative's changed. And then obviously, now alt season's here because they've cut rates, and it's like, well, it was a little bit of a pump, but not yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, but I'm honestly a little bit worried about that. Like, I would rather not see altcoins do well at this point and just see like Bitcoin dominance go higher, and Bitcoin and Ethereum is kind of leading the way. Like, that would, I think, look a lot more healthy. So I'm a little bit worried. I might just get out of all my positions next month or something. But again,
If
I'm
alt
not a
season
trader.
comes.
I don't know shit. Like, no one follow me. Like, there was also this a couple of weeks ago, there was this trend with Zora, which is also a base token, and they kind of integrate that into their base app and stuff. And one of my closest friends was shilling it like nonstop. He became like the anthem for Zora. Like, everyone started following him. He blew up on Twitter and everything. Like, now everyone, like all of those like LA Vape Cabal people and I don't know who are following him. And he became famous for being like the new Zora guy, and he was shilling Zora for weeks, and I was always like, yeah, no, I don't see it, and then I top blasted, like literally at the peak top. It was, I think it reached like 1.2 billion or something, fully diluted valuation, and I bought at like 1.1, and the next day I wake up, it's like half of that or something. So whatever I say, do the opposite.
Short it. Well, it's crazy as well. Like, you talk about like Ansem, and for people, I guess maybe not everybody knows who Ansem is. For example, so he was like, I guess, the big meme coin advocate. His biggest one is SPX, right? SPX 6000. And even then, like, it's doing okay, but it's not doing like near its all-time high. And
wasn't SPX, wasn't that Murat?
No, that was Murat. You're right. So what was Ansem's big one then?
With or something like that, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, point being, there's these big, if you don't know, on Twitter, there's these big social media presence and each one seems to back like one big project, but everyone follows what they do for all the other ones as well. And Ansem's one of them. I think he's like, all his wallets are tracked. Same with Murad. And so yeah, like, it's just it's crazy. This space. But look, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting, even just like from a perspective, like, we're involved. Obviously, I presume you hold some meme coins as well. But it's even from the sidelines, if you're not invested, right, it's still a very interesting space to see how things move, and like how the narrative has changed so much in crypto from where we were in like 2017, where things were all like visionary, this is going to change the world, this is going to be incredible, we're going to make big shifts, we're going to take down the financial system. And now it's kind of like, hey, check out this new dog version of PayPay.
Yeah, we've come a long way. I think I'm personally trying to stay out of the trenches as much as I can, because if you couldn't have guessed by now, like, I just lose money whenever I touch, any trades. It's like always on the losing end. So I try to stay away from all of that. I just focus on, building products that could actually provide some kind of value to the industry. But I understand how addictive it is. Like, even if you lose, it's like, you start spiraling. You're like, fuck, I need to make back my money, and start scouting on like Dex Screener and shit, and kind of looking for the next gem. And all of a sudden you see this tweet by, Ansem or BONK guy or whatever, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, I need to get into that. Yeah, it's a weird loop that you kind of get sucked into.
As well as, it's kind of like, even if you hit big, right, you never sell the top. You're like, I don't know anyone that's successfully gone, yep, nope, this is the top. I'm kind of just selling everything now. And I guess it depends on how much you have of the token, right? Like, if you were lucky enough to get in like under 100K on some meme coin and it blows up to a few million, then if you sell, you could literally crash the coin, right?
Yeah. Well, a good example of this is another friend of mine. I sent her useless at 20 million. And I was like, yo, BONK is shilling this 100% going to run. Like, guarantee it's going to run. Because BONK moves anything below 100 million easily. Like that's light work for him, right? And we saw that with the new Doge coin, like in November or December of last year. He ran that up to like, I think 700 million or something like that.
Wow.
So I was like, BONK started tweeting about this. He owns like, I don't know how many percentage of the supply that's going to go up. So she puts in like 30K. How like, I didn't even know that, right? I only knew that like at a later point she told me. I thought she was going to put in like, I don't know, like 1K or whatever, like, a couple of Solana.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. She put in, because I sounded like so
convincing.
Yeah. She was like, okay, I put in 30K, and then like a couple days later, she sent me a screenshot, 500K in her wallet. I'm like, what the fuck? And she's like, yeah, I put in 30K, and that shit pumped. And I didn't even take the trade, by the way. Like, I just stayed sideline. I was like, yeah, it's gonna go up, I know, but like, not gonna risk it.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the dip. It's always like, I'll wait for the dip.
That never comes. But that's the problem as well, right? Like, I mean, that's incredible. We'll continue talking about her going to 500K, but also it's like that's kind of like under 100, like 1 mil to 100 mil is super risky, right? Sub 1 million, yes, you could lose it all, but the upside is so high that it's like, well, if it goes from 1 million to 20 million, it's 20x. Like, you could, the risk reward there is there, but like 20 million, you'd have to put in quite, like, to make some decent wedge on it, you'd have to put in, like $1,000. And it's very likely that'll go to zero. Like, under $1 million, you could put in a couple of $100, or even, depending on where, if it's under 500K, you could probably put like $50 and have that same level of risk. And so yeah, so I completely understand the, like, even though logically, like, yep, he's tweeted about it, this is gonna run, like, it's still a risk. It's still a risk. But anyway, going back to your friend, like, that's awesome. Like 30, but still 30K is fucking risky.
But so how did we get to that topic? Is because, we were talking about never selling the top, and she didn't sell the top. Like, I was telling her to sell it, like, I think it was like 300 and something million. So she did like 15 to 20x or something. And she didn't sell. I was like, yo, just let it go. Like, you made your money, get out, even if it runs to $1 billion. Because at that point, you're like, you have to think about it. And that's also why I'm cool with selling ETH at like 5K or 4.5K or whatever, is because how likely is it for ETH or for useless to go from well, let's stick to useless, from 500 million, from 300 and something million to like $1 billion, or just 600 million, like another 2x, another 3x. It's not very likely. Like, you already made your 20x, like, get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not worth the risk at that point. So, and that's also the reason why I'm happy to sell ETH, because even if ETH goes to 8K, which I'm not sure if it will, like, I doubt it. But let's say it will. I don't really care, because that's just another 2x. It's not worth the risk, because we might as well see, I don't know, like a Black Swan event, or I don't know what kind of happen, and everything kind of goes to shit. So yeah, that's kind of my mentality with all this.
Profit is profit, right? Like, look, I bought ETH at sub $30, and I sold most of it when it hit $80. Now, that was a fucking stupid move, but that was when I was kind of like new to the space, and I didn't, I was like, wow, more than double my money. Fucking hell, let's get out of this. Luckily, I held on, and and have kind of done okay since. But like, I'd be a hell of a lot wealthier if I had the kind of stub to just like hold it out and stuff. But it's like, if you've made money out of it, is it that bad? Like,
but we've got to a point where products are not going to make, like, you're not going to find the next ETH.
No.
Like, you're not going to find that. You can't confidently bet on knowing what the next Hyperliquid is going to be. It's because there's so many different products out there. There's so many tokens. It's impossible to know, right? And the same with Aster. Like, it did. What did it kind of gains it to, like 2,000% or something ridiculous? Don't quote me on that. It's like insane gains, because it used to be APX So the token was already live, like it already existed for the last couple of years, and they just kind of merged that or did some stuff and then kind of revamped it as Aster. So the people who bought APX or whatever it was called, they made insane gains. But like, how could you know, right? It's impossible.
Yeah.
There's always players like CZ, like the people at Wintermute and stuff like that who kind of dominate the market, and they will know. But obviously that's their edge, right? And no one's gonna share that edge with you.
No, and that's insider trading, and I think it's just one of those things. It's not really like if you did that with stocks, especially in the US, the SEC would just come down on you hard, right? But like in crypto, it's crypto.
It's crime season.
It's so true. And yeah, like the biggest the biggest ones are going to be the market makers, right? And yeah, they're the ones that kind of making the money out of it. But it's still I think it's like fascinating to kind of see. And I think you're completely right. And it is like there's so much noise right now, right? It's compared to kind of like where it was 7-8 years ago, where you really couldn't miss. You know, like probably if we were on a run, like 80% of the projects, if you invested in it, you would have made at least 5 to 10x, but probably more.
Yeah.
And so you really couldn't miss. But now it's kind of like there's literally so much noise. There's only going to be, if we do have this kind of alt season, there's only going to be a few winners, I think, overall. I think maybe everything might get some liquidity, but I don't think we're going to see like 10x's across the board.
Yeah, I doubt that. I think I agree with that. Like, I think there's only going to be a handful, maybe not a handful, maybe more than that, but we're not going to see the same gains across like the whole fucking list of CoinMarketCap tokens that all of the sudden just pull like a 10x. That's definitely not going to happen.
No.
And we're seeing that already. Like, I think this is already alt season. Not like super hardcore alt season, but the altcoin season indicator is at like 73 out of 100. Everyone who tells me this is not an alt season, like, I don't know what to tell you. There's so many altcoins going absolutely parabolic. Like, yeah.
I think as well,
I don't expect a lot more than this.
No, I think things were sucked out of, like a lot of liquidity was sucked out of what would traditionally be like Solana and other kind of altcoins, if you will, via like things like Trump's coin, right? Like that sucked out so much liquidity, and yeah, I mean, we don't know. No one knows for sure, right? We could be wrong, and then like in 2 weeks' time, all of a sudden, you know, it's what, 4 trillion market cap. We're at like 8 to 10 trillion market cap. Who knows, right? It could happen.
How likely is that? You know,
very unlikely.
Because that would be doubling. It's doubling the whole. Because I also saw this. I was watching this YouTube video of this, like, you know, quant trader. I don't know who, like, I don't know what he does, but like some like super smart trader apparently, and he was saying that there's some like magical Fibonacci level something at like 10 million total market cap. I'm just like, oh sorry, 10 trillion. Did I say million?
You said million,
yeah,
but I knew you meant trillion.
Yeah. So 10 trillion. And I'm just like, do you know what that means? That means a 2.5x
everything.
That means Bitcoin could go to 200 something thousand.
Yeah.
Right. And
also like
to like 10K.
Yeah.
And everything else kind of goes parabolic too. Like, how likely is that when Bitcoin is already like in the is it in the top 10? I think it's in the top 10 of largest assets, right, globally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's good. Is it 2 trillion or like just Bitcoin on its own?
Yeah, something like that, probably.
Could be wrong, but yeah, like exactly right. Like
2.5.
The chances of Bitcoin doubling now is like very unlikely. At least, you know, okay, like you've got the kind of like macro.
We're talking now.
Yeah,
we're talking this site.
Exactly.
We're not talking like the next 10 years.
Yeah. People believe, and I do to some extent, that we will hit 1 million for a BTC in the future. But then that's all kind of contingent on like inflation as well. Like everyone thinks everything is stagnant and Bitcoin price now. Like if the value of the dollar is like half of what it's worth now in 10 years time, then that's very likely, right? But yeah, I think you're right. It's very, very unlikely that we're going to see something like that. What I do worry about, and I was talking to Anton about this on the previous episode, is like, what all these Bitcoin treasury companies are doing kind of worries me a little bit, right? Because it's consolidating a lot of Bitcoin into what you would consider more traditional financial vehicles, but B, it's kind of like we've seen Bitcoin drop so drastically, right? It's happened, and there's no. Everyone's like, well, yeah, if everyone's buying, the chances are, I say everyone, people have talked about if everyone's buying, it's kind of lowers the chances of it dropping so drastically because you have all this demand for it. But I was like, yeah, but all of these companies will have a point where, because they're all borrowing money, it's all on debt. Well, they'll be forced to pay back this debt. So they'll be forced to sell their Bitcoin. And what happens? What happens if Strategy has to sell their Bitcoin, right? We've not got there yet, and maybe they won't ever because they've been buying roughly at 65K is their average buy price overall. So maybe we'll never get there. But what happens? It's kind of like everyone's saying that this won't happen, and it's it's kind of going to be fine. And it's like, well, if we have that black swan event you're talking about, we've not seen Bitcoin deal with a recession. So I'm just kind of like, what does that mean? What is the outcome of that?
Well, it depends on how regulated everything is going to get, right? Because if we see regulators come in and we see some kind of U.S. Treasury or whatever in Bitcoin, then I guess they're almost forced to not let it fail, right? That's what we saw with the banks a couple of years ago. And if that point comes up, I guess, then they would just, I don't know, find a way to print more money to buy up the Bitcoin, or I don't know what, or do some OTCs, whatever. I don't know what, right? But I think it just depends. Do I see it happening? I don't know. I'm not sure if we're there yet. Obviously, Trump is an advocate, I guess, to some degree. But yeah, we haven't seen it yet. He's talked a lot about the U.S. Treasury. But yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. I think what the US is being smart about is obviously trying to keep the dominance of having a digital US dollar, because everything in the space is based off of USDT or USDC or some kind of pegged native US to the US dollar, because you don't really have trades in euros or pounds or yen. I mean, they do on exchanges and stuff, but it's minimum, right? So I think what they've done is great, and I wonder if the future holds is just having some form of we just use USDT or USDC on a digital wallet, right? And that's how everyone transacts around the world, and then it becomes the global currency, as it were, right?
But do we need Bitcoin in order to do that?
No,
that's the question, right?
We don't need Bitcoin to do that. But I mean, that's the crazy thing, right? Satoshi's vision for Bitcoin was that it was gonna be that, right? It was gonna be the digital cash, and really the market has decided that actually we prefer it as a reserve asset like gold. And so I guess there's always a space for that. It's more liquid than gold. It's easily accessible. Okay, for us, it might be easy to invest in gold, but for the majority of the world, it's not. Whereas it would be a lot easier for them to buy Bitcoin in some way, shape, or form, especially if it becomes more decentralized in terms of everyone having some sort of wallet. And there's a huge portion of the world that is completely debanked, right? They don't have access to a bank account. They can't get a bank account, but probably do have a mobile phone. It's a crazy kind of juxtaposition, right? And so yeah, so if everyone can have access to cash, and maybe the optimistic thing in this is that this sort of saves the dollar for the next 10, 20 years, because I mean, don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but obviously, in terms of quantitative easing and how much has been printed, it's a lot. And so this saves them as being the world reserve. And I think it's you know, the US losing its dominance might not be a bad thing overall for humanity in terms of like no one relying on the US dollar, but also it does mean catastrophically everything has to fail for that to happen, right? Because everything is backed by the US. As much as China and the whole BRICS nation wants to kind of de-dollarize, like everything is tied to the dollar.
Yeah, that's very unlikely. Yeah, if we see that, then we have other issues to deal with.
It's true. It's very true. It's like, a Bitcoin crashing is not going to be at the top of our forefront.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about a bit more about obviously your terminal with Hyperliquid? I thought that was really cool. We touched a little bit about it in the beginning. So like, how would someone utilize it if they wanted to utilize it? Has it been developed and is out there for use, or?
It's invite only at the moment.
Okay.
But if anyone wants to give it a shot, just send me a DM or something, and then I can whitelist basically any email that I want to kind of give it a shot. It's been super helpful. Like I caught so you can also set up like trading strategies and stuff. So for example, when I knew that Mooding was going to get a major tier 1 listing a couple of months ago, so what I could do is, or what I did was select Mooding and then create like a strategy that continuously scrapes for listing announcements. And then I selected Binance, Robinhood, and Coinbase because I wasn't sure which tier 1 it was going to be. And then as soon as it got listed on, I think it was on Robinhood.
Yeah.
Obviously the coin goes up. It automatically entered my trade and exited for me after a decent move. So those are like the kind of strategies also that you can kind of set up and stuff. So yeah, if anyone obviously wants to give it a shot, just send me a DM and I'll get you on.
Cool. That's really cool. And yeah, and like in simplest terms, like you essentially send the information over best way. And I like the fact that you said it's obviously either bullish or bearish, so then people can make their decision. They can't set it up automatically via you, but what can they do to kind of like act as quickly as they can?
You can trade directly through our app.
Okay.
So you'll see like a notification pop up, and within the pop-up window, you can already select to short or long with a certain size that you predetermine. Can I share my screen on here? So yeah,
what are we looking at?
Basically, yeah, I mean, this is the Hyperliquid backend, I guess, or people who use Hyperliquid should be familiar with.
Yeah.
The standard like Perps trading interface. But what we have on this side, and I'm not logged in, so can customize it a whole lot. But basically, this is like the news feed that you could see, and it's all like crypto news. So you'll see, for example, this was scored as like high impact, and as you can see, there was like a lot of movement on the chart. So this was World Liquidity Finance. But yeah, basically you'd see the news popping up, and then you can select what size you generally want to trade with, and then just with the click of one button, automatically like enter the trade. So it's really, really smooth, I guess, for a trading experience. I could log in, but that would take me a while.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. That's really cool. It's really, really cool. And it's very easy to utilize, actually. Like, because if it's already connected stuff, you can basically, off the news article, just buy it long or short it. And so what's kind of like the ultimate goal with it? Is it to launch it to the public, or is it going to be more of a private and continuously just, you go to like big institution and be like, hey, you want this?
No, we definitely want to open it to public. I think what we want to do first, so this is, I think I also opened the Versal app. So this is like staging product basically. But we also want to finish our like memecoin section where people can trade like on chain and also trade cross chain seamlessly. What I found very interesting was announcement yesterday made by Slingshot that they're shutting down. So I think that there's a huge gap for cross-chain trading at the moment because they dominated the market. Like people loved Slingshot. They had such a huge part of the market share.
How come they're closing down?
Well, they got acquired by Magic Eden like a while ago, and I think what Magic Eden wants to do is probably find a way to incorporate that into the Magic Eden app. But I don't think that it's going to be like the same experience. I think people are bullish on like the underdogs in crypto, you know,
Yeah.
and I think that was something that was very unique to Slingshot because they came from nothing and were kind of yeah, like the underdogs, I guess, to some degree. But yeah, I think we want to finish the cross chain spot trading as well, and then kind of push this live.
Cool. Yeah, it's awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, if I will send you a message, send me a link. It'd be cool. I'd like try it out if that's cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And
Absolutely, yeah.
and yeah, like you said, if anyone wants to kind of have a go at it and utilize it, to just contact you. So the best place to get you is on X.
On X or Telegram, I guess those are probably the best options.
Cool. And what's your handle on both those things?
So on X, it's at BizDevelo, so BIZ Develo. Or on Telegram, it's at YasGFC.
Cool. Amazing. Well, yeah, I think it's a good time to like wrap it up. I really appreciate your time today, Yas, and like let's definitely do this again if you're up for it in the future. And then yeah, like people know where to find you to reach out. Very cool stuff. And let's speak again soon.
100%. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Of course. All right, I'm gonna